Hello everyone, how are you doing? So today our lesson is about superlative adjectives. So have you ever heard about this lesson? Let's discover it all together. First of all, the use of superlative adjectives. Well, here we have superlative adjectives. Last session, or in the last lesson, we have studied the comparative adjectives. Is it okay? And we have learned that the comparative adjectives, we use a comparative adjective in order to compare between two things or two people or two animals to each other. We cannot compare between more than this. Now, concerning the superlative adjectives, we use it to compare one member of a group to the whole group that it belongs to. You're going to ask me how. For example, look at this family. Here we have a family, and we can talk about a father. Here, his name is Mark. So Mark is the tallest person in the family. He's the tallest one. So here we compare Mark with the whole group that he belongs to. Is it okay? So we cannot compare only between two things. We can compare between more than two. This is the superlative adjectives. Is it okay? So superlative adjectives is to compare, is the adjective that compare or to compare one member of a group to the whole group that it belongs to. We use the before the superlative adjective because we are referring to one specific person or thing. So we use the. That's why I underline it in the example. We say Mark is the tallest person in the family. Now, let's move into the forms of the adjectives. So there are three forms of adjectives. The first form is short adjectives. So we have seen this. Also in the comparative, we have seen short adjectives, long adjectives, and irregular adjectives. Now also with the superlative adjectives, we have three forms. First of all, short adjectives. The first thing that we have in short adjectives, as you can see, or as you know, or as you still remember, that short adjectives contain one syllable or two. That's it. So let's start with the first one is for one syllable adjectives. For one syllable adjectives, for example, like fast, so it becomes the fastest. What do you notice here? So we add the plus adjective plus est. Yes or no? Fast, one syllable. Fast. Yes or no? It contains one vowel, so fast, one syllable. Here, if it is the case, so we write the plus the adjective plus est. The same with tall, the tallest. Tall is one syllable adjective, so tall, the tallest. Short, the shortest, one syllable. Small, the smallest, one syllable too. Is it okay? For example, Ahmed is the tallest student in the group. So here we have taken this example. Ahmed is the tallest student in the group. So here we compare Ahmed to the whole, okay, the whole students in his group. Not just between two students. We are comparing Ahmed to the whole students in the group. Also, the second sentence, Aya is the shortest student in the group. The same here. We compare Aya to the rest of students in her group. B, for one syllable adjectives ending in a vowel. So we are still in short adjectives. Here we have different way. Here we have for one syllable adjectives ending in a vowel plus consonant. We double the last consonant and add est. So for example, we have fat, one syllable. Here I have already underlined the consonant T. So we have a vowel plus T. We have a vowel plus consonant. So if it is the case, we should double the last consonant and add est. Fat, the fattest. Thin, the thinnest. So thin, it means slim, or it is the opposite of fat. Is it okay? So thin, the thinnest. Hot, the hottest. Big, the biggest. So can you observe this? So we should have the last consonant and then we add est. And please don't forget the fattest, the thinnest, the hottest, the biggest, and so on and so forth. For example, Spain is the hottest country in Europe. So here we have Spain. We are comparing Spain to the whole countries in Europe. Is it okay? That is, Spain is the hottest country in Europe. So the adjective hot, yes or no? Since we have a vowel plus consonant, so we double the last consonant, which is T, and then we add est, the hottest country in Europe. C. For two-syllable adjectives ending in Y, we change Y to I and add est. The same here. So we are still in the short adjectives. Here we have the adjectives that contains two syllables and they finish in Y, so we change the Y to I, like busy, two syllables, busy, busy. So this adjective finishes in Y, so we drop the Y and we replace it by I and then we add est. Busy, the busiest. Easy, the easiest. Also easy, two syllables. Funny, funny, two syllables. It becomes the funniest, the funniest. So is it okay? So we drop the Y and we replace it by I. Then we add est. This is the superlative. Happy, the happiest, the happiest. Now let's see this example. Saturday is the busiest day of the week for shopping. So here we are comparing Saturday to the whole days of the week, which means we are comparing Saturday to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so on and so forth. Is it okay? That's the superlative. It's not like comparative. Comparative, you compare only between two things or two people or two animals and so on and so forth. But the superlative, we compare between one thing to the whole things of the same group. Is it okay? Now we have D. For two-syllable adjectives ending in ER, LE, or OW, we usually add est. Here we have another type or kind of syllables that they end in ED, ER or LE or OW. So if it is the case, we add to them est. Clever, the clever. So clever, it means smart. Is it okay? Clever, the cleverest. Gentle, so it finishes in LE. Gentle, the gentlest. Narrow, this adjective finishes in OW. So narrow, the narrowest. For example, David is the cleverest boy in the class. David is the cleverest boy in the class, which means he's the most intelligent student in his class. Is it okay? Now let's move on to the second adjective, which is long adjectives. So we have seen short adjectives and its types. Now let's move into the long adjectives. Long adjectives, as you can see, they are adjectives with 3 or more syllables. We always use the most or the least plus adjective. For example, complicated, complicated. How many syllables we have here? Complicated. 4 syllables. So since there are 4 syllables, so it is a long adjective. So complicated, the most complicated. Enjoyable, the most enjoyable. Interesting, the most interesting. Now let's see these examples. Malak is the most intelligent student in the group. So here we are comparing Malak to the whole students in her classroom. Is it okay? And the opposite of this, we can say also Karim is the least intelligent student in the group, which means he's stupid. That's it. And 3, we have this is the most interesting book that I have ever read. This is the most interesting book that I have ever read. So interesting, 4 syllables. And the last type of adjective, they are irregular adjectives. Of course, guys, irregular adjectives, you have to notice this. Some superlative adjectives are irregular. So there are no rules and you have simply to learn them. Is it okay? You should learn them by heart. We have 3. For example, in comparative adjective, we have said good, it becomes better than, and bad becomes worse than, and far becomes farther than or further than. Here in superlative, good becomes the best. The best. Al-ahsan. Bad, the worst. Far, the farthest, or you can say also the furthest. It's about the distance. Let's see these examples. Adam is the best student in the group at physics. Adam is the best student in the group at physics. 2. Karim is the worst student in the group at physics. So we cannot say Karim is the baddest. No, because bad is a regular adjective and it became the worst. He wants to be the best football player in the world. So this boy who is in the picture, he wants to be the best football player in the world. In the world, you see? Now let's move into the practice, which is really essential step for you guys. Try to form the superlative. So you have first sentence. This is comfortable room. Comfortable room. How many syllables do we have here in this adjective? Comfortable. 4 syllables. So it is clear. Long adjective. So you have to obey the rule of long adjectives. Number 2. Lamborghini is one of fast cars in the world. Adjective fast. It is a short adjective. Fast. So obey the rule of short adjectives. 3. A tiger is one of dangerous. 3 syllables. Dangerous animals in Africa. So it is a long adjective. 4. This bike is beautiful bike we have in our shop. Beautiful. 3 syllables. Number 5. This is big bass in London. So big, short adjective. Obey the rule. And number 6. Bank of Africa tower is going to be tall, short adjective, tall, building in Morocco. Is it okay? So try to copy this exercise in your copy books. Part of exercise, of course. Try to answer these questions. And by the way, we are going to correct all the exercises in a group I have just created on Facebook. It is called Second AC Student, which means your level. 2AC students. So in this group we exchange ideas and also we correct the whole exercises that we have done, and also if you have any questions you can ask me there and you are welcome. After this, try to take your copybooks part of lesson and let's write the lesson of today. It's about superlatives. First of all, write this definition about superlative. We use superlative adjectives to compare one member of a group to the whole group that it belongs to. Also the rule. So the rule, there are 3 forms of adjectives. So the first form, they are short adjectives. So whenever you have seen short adjectives I said, which means short adjectives, the adjectives that contain only 1 or 2 syllables. So here the rule that you should obey is the adjective plus est. Long adjectives, whenever you have seen more than 3, so 3 or more than 3 syllables, of course it is a long adjective, and you have to obey the rule which says the form of long adjective is the most or the least plus adjective. So you have to say, for example, the most beautiful or the least beautiful, like this. Okay? Number 3, irregular adjectives. Of course, there are 3 irregular adjectives, and you should learn them by heart. There is no other solution here. The only thing that you have to do here is you have to learn them by heart. So we have good, the best, bad, the worst, far, the farthest, or the furthest. It's about the distance. For example, so here I give you some examples in order to understand very well. Anna is the tallest student in her classroom. Anna is the tallest student. So here we have the adjective tall. Tall is a short adjective. So we obey the rule. So tall, short adjective, and we have seen the form of short adjective. It is the plus adjective plus est. Anna is the tallest. So we have the plus adjective plus est. And here we compare Anna to the whole students in her classroom. Number 2, Salma is the best student in her classroom. Here we cannot say Salma is the goodest, but we should transform this adjective because it is irregular. So good, it becomes the best. So Salma is the best student in her class. So here I take Salma and I compare it to the whole students in her class. Then number 3, Einstein is the most intelligent person. Of course, here we have intelligent is a long adjective, so we should obey the rule. We say the plus most plus adjective